So that's our lineup, and we're going to go ahead and jump into a conversation now with Dr. Harris. Are you there? Hey, there you are. How are you?
I am doing well, Denise. Thank you so much for having me on your program today.
My pleasure. And Mr. DeBow, glad to have you on as well. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and I am loving every moment of being part of the show and hearing all the information. And it's certainly in the professional level you're delivering it. It's really a attribute, and I'm honored to be with us today.
Well, thank you. Thank you so very much. Before we go into why the two organizations have come together, I think it's important for us to take a moment to recognize the former president of the National Black Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Um, why did I just forget?
Harry
Harry
Alford.
Alford. Thank you. I
Mhm.
was going to say Alfred, but Harry Alford, yes, who passed earlier this year. And can either of you just talk about his legacy
Hmm.
and what he meant to you, Mr. DeBow?
Yes, 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 yes. It just opens a an emotional place in with all of us, but those that really knew and worked in the space of advocating on behalf of black business, small business, and even working with the Fortune 500. Harry Alford is actually was my brother-in-law. He and my sister, my younger sister Kay DeBow,
Hmm.
founded the chamber almost 30 years ago, and through that evolution went from being a local chamber in Indiana to feeling a higher calling and wanting to um, replicate those principles and practices of it started with government contracting. But nonetheless, Harry was a strong advocate, just so pure and honest that he couldn't help himself. And if he saw something that he believed was true or factual, then that's what he went with. And he was nonpartisan. And even though a lot of the activities and the things that we did often veered more like to the Republican side, contrary to common language, we really just went with the best proposition for our constituency, and they'll just be dearly missed. However, this is NBCC 2.0, and I've kind of defaulted into a leadership role of it and guiding and taking us to this, which you could almost measure as a milestone, the post pandemic era, but more than anything, the we got to survive era. And regardless of what uh, challenges are placed in front of us, all of us as human beings on this planet, we're here now to come together to kind of filter out the impurities or the distractions and really focus on the essentials and the principles and certainly the legacies of all the best practices of all the things that have come before us, which is really what is the catalyst for uh, coming together with the National Business League to conceive and create the National Alliance for Black Business.
Wonderful. You know, the National Business League, of course, has a long legacy as well. And your founder, I haven't done all of my research. I can't remember. Help me out, uh,
well, I,
Dr.
I,
Harris,
well,
the
one,
founder of the National Business League.
yeah, no question. Denise and again, we remember Harry and Kay and the work that was done, serving in a significant time and space as an advocate, a fearless advocate for Black business. But as the 16th president and CEO of the National Business League, which is the nation's first and oldest trade association for Black business, founded,
Right.
of course, by the iconic and legendary Booker T. Washington on August the
Thank you.
23rd, 19.
How could I forget?
Absolutely. We are celebrating our
Oh,
122nd year in existence as of last month. And to be honest, in order for us to truly bring value and impact to the more than 3.2 million Black businesses in this country and the millions across the globe, Black organizations need to collaborate, have a collective vision, and a unified Black economic agenda. And if we are to see systemic change in the trajectory towards helping Black businesses build capacity, scope, and scale, and to compete in the global marketplace, we have to start to align. And there's no reason, because this comes from our African heritage as a collective body, and to not operate in a siloed way of operation, achieving no results. So this is significant. It's historic. We're proud to be associated with the National Black Chamber of Commerce. And like Charles just said, this is 2.0. We're moving into the new knowledge-based economy and digital age. And we look forward to participating meaningfully with measurable results.
The one thing I think is, we've talked about this on earlier shows, and how I think within our community now, the word collaboration as opposed to competition is becoming not only an acceptable term, but a worthwhile endeavor. And like you said, with the two organizations coming together, two very significant organizations with very, very significant histories coming together now is I mean, it's special, right? Exactly. So with that coming together now, will there be a new name? I mean, how will you all function now? Will you come together as one unified organization, or will there still be the two? How does that work?
Definitely separate and independent, but collective.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. But Charles, you want to go first?
Absolutely, that there is that that it was. I'm thinking about the comparison you made between competition and collaboration, and we are two organizations that maybe unbeknownst to even ourselves, there's a perception of which multiple choice do you choose, which and for what service. So in our discussions and some of the discovery that came about in some of the other collaborations and coalitions and things that we were participating in, we realized that it was a common goal. There were common needs, that in many cases we have the same constituency, but the challenges are just unlimited. I mean, there are so many things that are put out here to challenge the opportunities, the resources, and one of the key things, the knowledge. What information do we have to act upon? So the National Black Chamber of Commerce will always maintain its autonomy, but the commonality that we found with the National Business League was, in fact, the origins, the genesis, if you will, of who are we, where did we come from, and looking back and just saying, what's the history of this? Who knows that every time there is a generational change or a legacy change or any of these kinds of things, do we always have to start over? And we don't. The principles that Booker T. Washington wrote and documented, as well as being an academician in the science, we believe that business is in fact a science, and that there are some black and white issues and elements to the principles of it. And as Ken so eloquently touched on, the capacity, the scope, and the scale, not to mention doing business with each other. We can find opportunities. We are not necessarily limited by who gives us what. We are all God's children.
If I can jump in really quickly, and maybe Ken, you can address this. If I am, which I am, a business owner, and I had to choose, or was trying to choose, do I join the National Business League, or do I join the National Black Chamber? What help? What do both organizations offer that help me to make that decision to do one or both?
Yeah, and again, I think it goes back to your earlier point of competition versus collaboration. When it comes to business formation, it's all hands on deck, and any resource that's available to you, you should take advantage of. And so I would be a member of any organization, including the National Black Chamber of Commerce, the National Business League, and other business-oriented organizations that provide resources, access to capital, tangible needs for technical assistance to help you build your business and grow your business is absolutely important. And in a time where the Black community has been isolated, marginalized, and even segregated throughout history, especially post the pandemic, if we are to achieve economic freedom and liberation, it's essential that especially two of the oldest and largest Black business organizations in this country work together and align, especially in terms of advocacy and holding the public and private sector accountable, especially as it relates to ROI, return on investment, return on inclusion, and return on the opportunity to be involved and participate in society's economic mainstream. And that's what we're here to do. So on Tuesday, September the 27th, as a historic endeavor, the National Business League and the National Black Chamber of Commerce are coming together. We are hosting the State of Black Business Luncheon at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. And we're going to do three things. One, talk about Black business solutions for Black business problems, make a historic partnership announcement, and forecast a cooperative Black business agenda to help improve the economic circumstances and experiences today in the Black community.
That's fantastic, and that you led me to my question. Actually answered my question about what's going to happen on Tuesday, and that's good news. And especially at a time now. I mean, this is we're still in the sort of the throes of Mr. Floyd, who was killed. Major businesses now are really beginning to look at Black businesses and utilizing the resources that we have more. But yet we went through a pandemic, so a lot of our businesses struggled as a result of that. So it sounds like you're going to be addressing all of those issues on Tuesday.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So thank you. I'm really glad that you're coming together, that you use the WIN TV as an opportunity to make that announcement. And we certainly will be there on Tuesday at the National Press Club to get the story. That's page one for us. I don't know about others.
Thank you for that.
So we will definitely be there. And I want to thank the two of you all for being with us today.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week. And thank you so much.
Thank you. All righty.
Okay.